Hi, this is Chandra, and I'm here to share with you how I made my Ladies Diary file folder mini album that I made for a Graphic 45 Design Team Challenge. So I'm going to start with just showing how I made the pages. The covers are made out of chipboard. I purchased a chipboard at joanns.com, or you can get it at walmart.com. It's just a graphics medium weight chipboard. The cover is 9¼ by 9½, and I used the Seven Gypsies binder rings to bind it. Although I did design this to be used with the hidden hinge binding system that Kathy Orta came up with. And then at the last minute, I decided not to use that. So what you're going to need are just the standard size file folders. These are 11 and 5/8 long and about 8½ wide. So you're going to need 4 of the middle bank and 2 each of the left bank and right bank. I mean, you can alternate them if you wanted to, and use them different ways in your album. To make the big pages in them, what I did was I cut off 1¼ inches from the right side and 1¼ inches from the left side. And then on all of them, I cut off 1/2 inch on the bottom. So when you do that, this is what you get. And then you're going to take your 1/4 inch corner chomper and round all 4 corners because you've cut them off and now they're going to be straight. On the left and right banks, they're exactly the same. They're just opposite. I cut 3/8 of an inch off the left side, or the side with the tab, and then 2¼ inches off the right side, and then 1/2 inch off the bottom side. And again, I had to round all 4 corners. The right side is done exactly the same way. 3/8 of an inch off the right side, 2¼ inches off the left side, and 1/2 inch off the bottom. Focus. There we go. And then you get this. And again, I rounded the 4 corners. You don't really have to worry about the bottom since you're going to be binding it anyway. So once that was done, I had all these pieces to make the pages. Now on the page construction, I took 1 left and 1 right bank, and all I did was I left them the same size that I originally cut them for my pages, except for I just folded them down a little bit. I didn't even measure, I just folded them down like that. And this one I folded down like this. And you don't have to worry about this black wording because you're going to cover it with paper. So after doing that, then I could start building my first page assembly. And so this is the page that's like this. All I did was fold it down. It might be folded a little bit differently so it makes the page look longer or whatever. And then I use these hinges, these 1/2 inch pieces that you cut from the bottom. I use those to attach this piece to the actual page. And all I did was apply, you want to use score tape or sticky back tape to both sides of this hinge. And then place your hinge like this. You want your fold being out. Place it like that, and then you can line up the sheet like that. And then you'll have this. And the next thing I did was I had to make hinges. I'm going to open this up here. I had to make hinges for attaching the 2 file parts together to make it a page. So again, I just used part that I cut off, or I had scraps from cutting off the 2¼ inch sides. So all I did was cut them to 1 inch and I folded them in half to create a hinge. Again, I put tape on it on both sides of the hinge. So I'm going to do this one along with you. I'm going to turn it this way. So this is the actual file folder like we have. And again, you want to use score tape or something else. So all you have to do is put this in like this. And you're actually not going to need this length of it because when you close it, it would stick out. So just cut that off. And then you're going to put tape on the other side and then line it up, and you've made your first page. And that's all I did for the first page as far as the file folders. Then what I did was I took 3 pieces of cardstock. Now I used as close to what I could get as the color of the file folder that I could, so I used cream. One piece is going to be 6 3/4 by 3 1/2, and then you're going to score on the 6 3/4 inch side at 1/2 inch and at 6 1/4, and that's going to be the pocket for the left side inside page. So then all you're going to do is apply score tape to the flaps, and you're going to adhere it. And then you're going to use wet glue to seal the pocket shut. Now for these 2 pockets on the right hand page, I cut 2 sheets at 5 1/2 by 5. I scored on the 5 1/2 inch side, so the 5 1/2 inch side was up in my scoreboard. So I scored at 1/2 inch and then 5. Then I took my edging punch and then I just punched out the design on the pocket. So this is going to make the big belly band style pockets. Once you cut, whoops, there you go. Once you've punched out your design with your edge punch, cut off on the flaps at an angle. That just helps it when you're going to attach it to your base page, so that when you fold it over, you're not going to see any of the flaps on the back. So all I did to them, and what I did on my original one was I matted it first because I thought it was going to be hard to, you can take probably about 2 inches of pattern paper for each side and mat it. And then you're just going to put score tape again, some kind of sticky tape, or you can use wet glue. And then I just centered them on the page where I wanted them. I'm surprised they're halfway even. Usually I fold wrong or cut wrong. Now, it was kind of a challenge to get my paper, because I like 1/4 inch around my paper, so it was kind of a challenge to mat this. So what I did was I took one of the pieces that I haven't dealt with yet or haven't folded into a page yet, and I just put it on top of my patterned paper, traced around it, and then I cut inside the line a little bit. So like if this was my patterned paper, I'm going to use pen and hopefully you can see what I'm talking about here. I just traced around the sheet like this. And then when I cut it, I just cut inside the line a little bit and tried to make it as even as I could, so that when I matted it, it looked like it was already cut. So like this would be matted here, and it would be just a little bit, I don't know if you can see it, it would just lay inside there and give me that border that I like on my pages. And then after distressing the edges of my pattern paper, you couldn't really tell that I had cut it. And so that's how I matted on that. So now the back page is blank, and what I did is I just left it that way. Now, these are the easy pages. Since you have 4 of the middle tabbed pages, what I did was I just cut one down to 4 inches. And when I say 4 inches, I mean 4 inches from here to here, not from the tab to the bottom. So I made this one 4 inches, and I made another page 5 inches, and then I just stuck those in between the other base pages. So like I can use the 5-inch one as my first page, and then when you flip it over, you'll have this page. And then it flips over, and then I'll stick the 4-inch one in there, and that will be like my 3rd page. Now, another thing that you can do do two different things for this folded pocket here. You can either apply score tape right along the crease line, right around the fold line, and fold it down, and you can create a tension style pocket, or you can make more hinges and apply them to the sides like this and make that an actual pocket. I used both variations in my album. So the middle tab page that I did, well, I started off with obviously, whoops, the middle tab. And then I used another part that I had folded. And again, I just took it and folded it down. I attached it with a paper hinge like this to this middle page. Then I cut 3 pieces of cardstock. It's locking up. Don't you love it? I don't know why it does that. Okay. I cut 3 pieces of cardstock that measured 4 by 6. I scored on the 4-inch side at 1/2 inch and 3.5 inches. And again, I used the same edge punch as I did on the other ones. And then all you have to do is adhere them all down. And again, you probably want to mat at least the sides before you put this down so that you can get good matting. Now on this side, I just went ahead and stuck another folded page, half a page I should say, there, and I attached it with another hinge. Now the right page, I'm sorry, the left flat page, I used half a center tabbed page there and attached it with the paper hinge again. And then I used 2 pieces of cardstock. They're different sizes. The first one measures 5.5 by 5 3/4. I scored on the 5-inch side. So again, the 5-inch side is at the top of the scoreboard at 1/2 and 4.5. And the second sheet measures 6 by 5 3/4. I stuck it with the 6-inch side up and scored at 1/2 inch and 5.5. And then I used the trim punch again, edge punch. And now you're going to do is apply score tape or glue to the flaps and then attach them down to your page. Now this one I did leave on the back. So here's the back of the page. I'm going to scoot it over a little bit here. This is one of those folded pages now. It's the center page, the opposite side of the center page. And here is a 1/2 inch piece that I cut off the bottom of my folder. And all I'm going to do is put some tape on it. Now since it is 1/2 inch, I'm using two swipes. I'm going to put it on the bottom of the page. You want the folded side to be towards the spine or where you're going to bind. Then you can just simply flip over and line it up because you already have tape sticking up here. So line it up and attach your other page to it. And again, you can make pockets out of this, or if you apply score tape, I think this might just pop up, but we'll see. If you apply score tape and close it, it's going to create kind of a tension style. Your tags are going to stick a little bit, so when you're flipping over the book, they won't come over. Normally, you don't want to use wet kind of adhesive because this never dries. So you don't want to use that when you're creating a pocket because your tags will get stuck. But in this case, you want the tags to get stuck there. So just, you can use it in that case. Oops, I cut my paper. And so when that's all put together, you can use the hidden hinge binding system or the stack the deck binding system or any other type of binding system where you stick the tab or the flange of the binding system inside the page like that. So it'll stick in like that. And that's how I made it. And again, I'll go through my page designs. Here's the 4-inch page that I cut, and I used that, which is this one. I used that as my first page, and there was nothing on the back of it. I just designed it and left it blank for patterned paper, pictures, stuff like that. Try to see if I can zoom out. This is the first page style that I showed you, and I did create the tension style pocket here. which you can create here. When you open it up, like here, here's that pocket, like here. And then here are the two belly band styles here. So your tags can go in there. And then inside this pocket, I just have a very large tag. And I just measured the size of my pocket and put it in there. So you can make it smaller, make it a little bit bigger, add more stuff to it. So then when you turn it over, it's just blank like this file. So then here's the 5-inch piece that I had cut, and that's what I had for page 3. I just put it in there backwards so that the tab opening is on the other side. So when you open it up like this, this is where your pocket is. And I think this is the tag that goes in there. The next style page is the one with the 3 belly band pockets. I made a tension style pocket here. Again, you can tell that this one's folded a little bit differently because I didn't measure. I just folded it where I wanted it. When you open it up, there's nothing there. On this particular one, I made a pocket out of the cutout from the collection, so you can do that too. And then here are the 3 style belly bands with tags in them, and then the large pocket tag itself. Now on this side, I used this as a pocket. So what I did was I used hinges right here and right here, and then folded it up, and that created this pocket. And this I left as a tension style pocket here. So you could do that to that. Now, like I said, when I was originally designing this, I was going to use the hidden hinge binding system, so it would have bound a little bit better, and these pages when they opened up wouldn't be kind of wacky like this one is. The next section is the last page, and I just used the middle section of another file folder, created the hinge, now I can't even think, tension pocket style page, just by adding the glue there. I also used some of the patterned paper from the collection, cut it out with a border punch, stuck another piece of score tape in there to create a tension style pocket here so that I can make smaller tags. I just never got to making the smaller tags. So when you open it up, this page again is just the patterned paper, and this side is blank. I just showed you to make. These are the 2 different sizes of the belly band pockets, and those are here. And then the back of this one has a pocket on it. So this one, again, you could apply a hinge here and a hinge here and create this pocket like I did on the back. And then I used the tension style design again here so that I could stick tags or whatever there. And then the back cover. Hello. So that's all I did to make the file folder mini album. And I hope you've enjoyed. I hope my video doesn't skip too much. Somebody said that my video was skipping. I noticed that it froze up a couple times. This is the 3rd time I've tried to make this video. I don't know what happened. The first time it didn't have sound. The second time I got interrupted. I tried to edit it, and for some reason when I edited it there was no sound again. So I give up on editing for right now, and I'm just going to send this off to Facebook and YouTube now. Again, check out my blog at superhappyscrapper.blogspot.com, and have a great day. Bye.